So, good morning and welcome to the Plain Township special meeting for January 15th. Ben, are you ready to roll?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'll start out with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ripsky.
Here.
Mr. Olmsted.
I am here.
And we expect Mr. Ferguson to join in progress, so.
He better be quick. We've got one matter on the agenda for this morning, resolution 210115B1 to hire an accounting assistant. But I know the other day you were explaining a bit that you had someone identified and felt that they were a good candidate. I don't know. Well, why don't you just give us a brief description of what you want to do, and we'll see if Dave joins by then.
Well, as you know, we have been struggling since Cindy's resignation to fill the position. Fortunately, Courtney has stood up as a rock star and took on the responsibilities of that position and is doing a phenomenal job. I feel like we threw her in the ocean without a life jacket, and she's kicking some butt. So now we have to find somebody to give her some support in her old position. And we were fortunate enough to find this Nancy Fry, who is somebody I have been acquainted with for years, known her through her family and my family. Basically, our kids grew up together. Had Courtney interview her the other day, and Courtney seems to feel like she could really do a good job. And we would like to see if we could hire her.
And it sounded like from her background, she worked in the was it in billing and administration for one of the local dentists? Yeah,
her background, Dave. She's got a degree from Idaho University, I believe, or Idaho. Yeah, I think it's Idaho University in corporate finance. She has worked at State Farm and has worked in personal finance as well for a financial advisor out in Arizona, and she's been here for 25 years. And is currently, for the past several years, working for Dr. Hudda in billing, insurance, patient invoicing, scheduling, and so forth.
Great. Ben, anything? Oops, I'm sorry. Oh, I thought I heard somebody else. Ben, anything?
No, this is Dave Ferguson.
Oh, hey, Dave. We got started. But okay. I'll let you take over. Bud just gave us some background on his candidate. So go for it.
We have a resolution, right?
We do. Was just about to ask Ben if he had any questions, comments.
Go ahead.
I'll defer to Bud and Courtney. I know that she does need assistance at this time. I know Nancy personally, just briefly from Dr. Hudda. I owe her $6,000. That's besides the point. It sounds like she has a good background and could be of assistance. And so, I would love to see her resume just for sharing, but don't have any concerns.
Yeah, we will get that to you, Ben. I thought that we had. In fact, Courtney and I had corresponded later in the week, I guess maybe later Wednesday, about trying to set up a meeting between you and Nancy prior to today, but obviously we didn't get to that.
But we will get the rest Tom. Bud, this is Tom. Hour-wise for the office, she'll be a full-time employee. Is that the understanding? And how does that correlate back to what we had when Cindy was with us?
Well, Courtney was at 30 hours, Cindy was at 40 hours, and Michael was at 20 hours. What we are planning on doing is bringing Nancy on as up to 40 hours a week as needed. We are just so far behind right now. It's it's kind of scary for Courtney. And so we need to bring her on for up to 40 hours a week, and then we will take a look and reevaluate our need for both hours and staffing.
Okay, thanks.
If we,
Ben, are you heavily involved in directing some of the work here with Courtney and them? Like we kind of talked about, you would be the primary interface to help prioritize things and such. Are you doing that?
I think at this point, Courtney's doing the very best that she can, just to keep the ship moving in the right direction. I think that we'll make some changes moving forward, just as we try to schedule out the work and prioritize some things.
Yeah, I just want to be clear on this, and if Bud's not in agreement, I thought we were in agreement, but really, you need to take the lead here, obviously, on a solid line. Courtney and them report to Bud on a dotted line. We're expecting you to manage the overall office and work activities and prioritization. And I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page with that. If not, let's discuss that and make sure if we have something else that we need to discuss.
I mean, conceptually, I'm not in disagreement, Dave. The one thing that I've not yet seen that I want to see before we formally establish that is guidance from the auditor's office on whether or not that presents any issues for them. The one that I've mentioned a couple of times is segregation of duties. So,
And that's fine, Dave. I agree, and I know that Ben has cited a number of townships that have this model, but I don't disagree that that's something that you've asked for and we need to follow up on.
Let me interject here.
I think we're all
a second or two. First of all, Ben has been an incredible resource to the fiscal office during this transition. Ben has a wealth of knowledge and has been able to help us in so many areas, from preparing resolutions to tax bills to giving us the help that we need. Just recently we've been working on the certification of year-end balances. Courtney's had some questions on that. Ben is an excellent resource. Dave, on a dotted line, that's already taking place. Ben is giving guidance that is needed throughout. He's almost the first phone call or email that Courtney makes because of his experience. So we're working very, very closely together on this. It's already happening. I understand Dave Olmstead's concerns about the compliance and so forth, and we will be sure that we are in total compliance, with no stepping on toes. But in the meantime, just to let you know, Ben has been and continues to be an excellent resource for Courtney, and I expect that to continue going forward.
Yeah, and Bud, just again to clarify, I'm not opposing doing this. I am a proponent of having both groups work more closely together. And as long as other people are doing it and it can be done, great, let's do it. Just want to make sure that we don't inadvertently step into something. And everybody's worked long and hard at having clean audit opinions every year, and certainly want to see that continue without some sin of omission.
Agreed. And I didn't mean to insinuate that you were against it, Dave. I know that you're not. I know that you're for it. You just want it to be compliant, structurally compliant, and we'll be sure of that.
And so everybody knows my view on this is that we have such of a small bench, meaning such limited resources, that Ben can take his entire team and, where appropriate, working with Courtney to continue to look at sharing knowledge, cross-training individuals. That is the goal here, to do it within a legal basis, but also so that we don't have a situation if Courtney or whoever decides that this is not what they want to do, that we cannot function the fiscal office. And so we're just two small staffs. And I think this is the right thing to do. And I think that's great that Nancy's going to be there. And we just need to make sure that everybody's open to the type of communication and cross training. And if it involves other employees that Ben wants to work with Courtney on signing stuff, I think we need to give them the flexibility to do that as well.
Totally agree.
It
David.
sounds to me that yeah, I agree. It sounds to me that we are all in agreement, and it just needs to be massaged and implemented.
Yeah, I agree, Tom. I think we are. And Dave, well said. Okay, so that's a good discussion, and Courtney got to hear that, Ben got to hear that, that we're all on the same page, which is very important. One team, one mission here, huh? And we have a resolution here. Dave, do you want to take this resolution?
Mr. Chair, this is Ben. I just wanted to point out on the resolution, the version I received that you have before you, it states this is a 40-hour per week position. In the recent discussion, Mr. Zappatelli indicated it was up to 40-hour a week position. I don't know if there's any distinction to be made there.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, do you want to just amend this to say up to instead of 40? The only concern that I've got there is if we say that and then, we all understand that there's a learning curve and it could involve more hours. Does that hamstring us, Ben, if we say up to 40 hours or a 40-hour week position? How do we word that properly to avoid any issues?
Well, what we had done with some staff in the past was make it a full-time position so that they were required to work at least the 30 hours. But, if they only needed to be in the office 35 hours, that's what they worked. If we make it a 40-hour position, the expectation is that they are, docking 40 hours a week minimum,
Okay, so what are the right words to put in there to indicate what Bud wants to accomplish?
At minimum that it would be a full-time position with full benefits.
Okay, so instead of saying this is a 40-hour per week position, we're going to change 40 hours per week to say full-time. Is that correct?
Now,
does that accomplish what we need to?
With your interest, Bud, is that?
Yeah, I mean, it gets us where we need to be. I mean, I just want to be sure that it's clear that we may need up to 40 hours a week right now through this transition. Courtney is like I say, over her head and working her butt off. And I just don't want to be hamstrung and say, let's do it 30 hours where we had Courtney prior to her being promoted. I don't want to do that. So as long as there's benefits, it's a full-time position and up to 40 hours a week, I'm fine with that.
Okay, because my feeling on this is that it could be more than 40 hours as long as Nancy's willing to work them as we work through this, because my understanding is that Michael is unavailable right now, and it's Courtney's working all sorts of hours.
Michael's back in the office now, but okay. I mean, yeah, I'm over my head. I mean, I was, I think, over 50 hours last week. I'm already at 41 or 42 hours this week. And I mean, I need help desperately.
Yeah, no, appreciate that, Courtney, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. So I'm going to just change this to say this is a full-time position with full benefits. So Resolution 210115B1, a resolution to employ Nancy Fry as an accounting assistant, be resolved to employ Nancy Fry as Plain Township accounting assistant at the rate of $22.50 per hour starting on January 27th. This is a full-time position with full benefits. That is my motion, or that is the resolution.
Dave moved on that, and I'll second that. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Tom?
Yes, aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye as well. Does that conclude our business today?
I think it does.
Okay, I'll motion for adjournment.
I'll second that.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All in favor?
Thanks.
Dave?
Yes. Yes.
Tom? And I'll vote yes
Yes.
as well. Our meeting is adjourned.